President Trump won the national popular vote by 1.5% in the 2024 election, a 6-point improvement from his performance against Joe Biden in 2020. Yet despite this strong shift to the right for Republicans compared to recent elections, Kamala Harris came surprisingly close to reaching 270 electoral votes, losing the tipping point state of Pennsylvania by only 1.7%. As a result, Trump's structural advantage in the Electoral College narrowed to just 0.2%, meaning Harris would have needed to win the national popular vote by only 0.2% to claim the presidency. This R plus 0.2% bias marks a significant shift from the Electoral College's biases in previous elections, which were R plus 2.9% in 2016 when Trump beat Clinton, despite losing the popular vote, and R plus 3.8% in 2020. One way to understand this contraction is by examining Pennsylvania's performance relative to the nation. While Trump's overall national margin improved by about 6% in 2024, his margin in Pennsylvania improved by only 2.4%. This amounts to a 3.6% leftward shift in Pennsylvania relative to the country. Why did this happen? Simply put, Republicans have been trading heavily white suburban and exurban voters who are overrepresented in today's battleground states for Hispanic and Asian voters concentrated in states like Florida, Texas, New York, and California. Because none of these large states are core battlegrounds at this point, this new coalition proved far less electorally efficient for Trump and the GOP. After 2012, Republicans thrived in the Electoral College by winning over ancestrally Democratic, white working-class voters in key northern states like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Meanwhile, Democrats were piling up large margins in big coastal states, California, New York, Maryland, Massachusetts, and Washington, where diverse urban cores and highly educated suburbs concentrated the Democratic vote. This dynamic shifted in 2024. Predominantly white areas, particularly those with higher education levels, trended left. At the same time, Hispanic and Asian voters trended decisively to the right, fueling significant Republican gains in states such as Florida, Texas, New York, and California. However, since these states were far from the tipping point, the GOP's gains there were largely wasted from an electoral college perspective. Another factor is that Harris generally overperformed expectations in key swing states. According to Decision Desk HQ data scientist Zachary Danini, 4 of the 7 major battlegrounds, Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, ranked among her top 6 state-level overperformances. Vice President Harris's resounding success in these key swing states can be attributed to several factors. First, her campaign's substantial financial advantage enabled a highly coordinated strategy, combining targeted advertising with robust ground operations. This approach proved particularly effective in these pivotal states, allowing for precise voter outreach and contributing to improved black voter turnout compared to 2020. This was especially true in Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, whereas turnout was notably lower in states like South Carolina, Mississippi, and Alabama. Second, Harris's supporters, while generally less enthusiastic than Trump's base, seemed especially motivated to turn out in battleground states. This was likely driven by the understanding that their votes carried significant weight in deciding the election's outcome. Additionally, a New York Times article published just before the election pointed out that new movers to these states were generally more Democratic. The movement of Americans between states has become more and more politically polarized. Voters who moved into the 25 states Biden won in 2020 tended to be more Democratic than their neighbors. And likewise, voters who moved into the 25 states Trump won tended to be more Republican than their neighbors. And notably, among the swing states, new movers to Michigan skewed D plus 12, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin D plus 17, and Georgia D plus 12, all 4 of which ranked among Harris's top overperformances. In comparison, movers to Nevada leaned R plus 3, and Arizona an eye-popping R plus 26. Unsurprisingly, both states ranked in the top 15 for margin swings favoring Republicans, whereas every other battleground state landed in the bottom half. Looking ahead, the 2030 census reapportionment is expected to be a big win for Republicans. States Trump carried in 2024 are projected to gain a net 9 electoral votes, while states won by Harris are set to lose 9. That shift would give Republicans about a plus 0.7% advantage under current conditions. However, demographic trends could chip away at this advantage. Many key battlegrounds, especially in the upper Midwest, are still heavily white and relatively well educated. Over the next decade, most analysts expect Democrats to keep making gains with white voters compared to the national average, which could help offset some of the GOP's structural edge. Ultimately, neither party can bank on a sizable electoral college advantage in cycles to come, but it is certainly possible that one develops. That just about does it for today's video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts on this analysis in the comments and suggest any other videos or topics you'd like me to cover. Shout out to my channel members listed in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Check out more of my content here, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. EP out.